solo and the duo queue games that you end up playing, and then unranked games end up being everything else. So normals, customs, draft, etc. And the reason why we are making this distinction in the first place is because we are not going to be treating those two types of games the same. So, ranked games are the games that you want to treat as an investment. You're investing your time in order to get something out of it. And what you're looking to get out of it is the output. That is why you're playing, and that is why everyone else tends to play as well. So you pretty much do not want to do anything that would end up lowering your chance of being able to get that LP and being able to win, of course. And that's why from now on, whenever you end up feeling sad, tired, tilted, hungry, angry, exhausted, whenever there is something that ends up essentially influencing your motivation and your concentration, you are gonna be stepping away from the ranked games themselves, because for us quality matters way more than quantity. To me, it does not matter whether you play 10 games or 3 games, but what I want to see is that those games that you do play, they end up being high quality games in which you're motivated, focused, and concentrated, and then everything else. Like, for example, again, if you end up feeling whatever, sad, tired, tilted, you can still play League, no problem, but you cannot play the ranked games. So you want to go forward and you want to play unranked pretty much, have fun, etc. Those unranked games are the games in which you can do whatever you want. If you want, you can play a full tank jungle Teemo, literally. Like whatever you want, go in, have fun, yeah, enjoy it. And we also tend to use them for practicing. So whatever it is that you want to practice, this is where we practice. So if you also struggle facing a specific champion, etc., again, this is where we do it. This is where we practice, and this is where we make sure that that ends up not being the case anymore. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And then another thing that you want to do
Hmm.
is that you want to go forward and you want to try to create balance between those two. So balance in our case means that you want to make sure that you're not overcommitting to either of the two sides. Overcommitting to ranked games is bad because with time you're going to enjoy them less and you're going to get to the point that you're feeling too pressured when you're playing them. And then overcommitting to unranked games, again, is bad because they are not really challenging enough for you to be able to climb and improve consistently. And that's why, again, we do not want to overcommit to them. And that's why balance for us ends up being crucial. Now you're going to decide what that balance is for you. Some people tend to do 2-2, some people tend to do 5 ranked, 1 unranked. Some people go with the flow. So that's something that you want to do based on the way you feel and based on the way you think is right. But generally, it's going to end up being very helpful for us to do it that way. Sounds good?
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. Do you ever tend to play duo queue games?
Yeah, pretty frequently, I would say. It's probably like probably well, we'll say like 60 to 70% are probably duo. That I'm probably shifting that a little more recently, to like
Mhm.
more solo. But historically, yeah, I typically like I duo a lot.
Okay, no problem. That's something that you can, and that's something that you should do as often as you want to. There is no issues with it. The only two requirements that we have are that you want to play with someone who tends to take those duo queue games as seriously as you do.
Yep.
That's number one. And number two is that you want to play it with someone who is ideally a little bit better than you are. So we do not want to play with someone who is significantly better. Someone who is a little bit better is ideal, because that way every game pretty much that you play is going to be a pretty nice a learning opportunity, and that's what for us is gonna end up being a pretty nice thing. So that's the idea. That's how you can approach it, and that's how you're going to be able to again get the most out of it.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. What else? That's it regarding the duo queue games. Nothing extra worth mentioning regarding that one. In addition to that one, another thing that is generally good to add up. What do you know about the MMR? What is MMR to you?
Uh, it's that number that they took away in like season 3 that you can't see anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean MMR is basically like it's not necessarily I'm Emerald 3 right now, right? But my MMR may be Emerald 4, maybe Emerald 1, right? So your direct rank is not necessarily reflective of the games that you are playing because all of leagues and matchmaking is MMR based and not rank based, right?
Mm-hmm. So yes, basically, when they ended up creating the game, they wanted some type of a ranking system that they generally can use
Yeah.
for the game itself.
Yep.
And instead of creating like a fresh one, they ended up going forward and they ended up stealing Chess Elo and they ended up putting Chess Elo into League of Legends, basically. So that's why some people refer to it as MMR, some people refer to it as Elo. But it is basically one the same thing. There is really no difference. As you said, they did take it away, but they did not really take it away. They just
Yeah,
ended
they
up
hid it.
hiding
Yeah,
it.
they put it behind LP.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because people started abusing it, and then they ended up introducing that LP system as a whole. Now LP system as a whole is pretty much irrelevant. Like LP does not really decide on anything that you do in the games that you play, and LP for you ends up being completely irrelevant. Like
Yeah.
you do not get into the game based on LP, but only based on MMR, which is still running in the background. So that's the big thing about it. And generally speaking, you do have a couple of different types of MMR. So first of all, we have ranked versus unranked. Ranked and unranked are not really connected to each other in any way, shape, or form for that matter. And theoretically, again, you literally can be challenger in ranked and you can be iron in unranked or vice versa.
Hmm.
There is no there is no connection between the two. Then, in addition to that one, when it comes to a ranked game specifically, ranked game MMR, the first one we have is your personal MMR. And your personal MMR is again that MMR of your account, of you as a player. And it ends up changing after every single game that you play. So basically, when you win a game, you win 4 to 5 MMR points. And when you lose a game, you lose 3 to 4 points. So the idea is that for as long as you're able to keep that 50% win rate, you're generally going to be climbing consistently. Like 50% win rate is the required win rate for you to climb. They did not want to make the game too hard. That's why they went with that.
Yeah.
And that's why basically, yeah, for as long as you win one, lose one, win one, lose one, you're going to be able to climb. Also, regarding that one, I think that is again worth mentioning is that your basically your performance does not influence it. It's just wins and losses.
Yes.
However, the only extra thing that does matter is whether you get on a streak or whether you do not. So that's that only extra thing that has any influence
Okay.
over the MMR itself. And whenever you get onto a streak, every consistent game that you play ends up inflating the the amount of MMR that you either win or the amount of MMR that you lose.
Okay.
So, for example, first win is going to be 4 to 5, but second is going to be 6 to 7, etc. And in the past, there was actually no limit to how many games you could connect in a single streak. So you literally had people go forward and connect like 50 wins, literally starting off in Platinum 4 and then just going forward, winning, winning, winning. And that would get you into the point that you literally end up being Emerald and you're playing Masters level lobbies because the MMR decides who you play with, who you play against, stuff, etc. And last season they actually ended up limiting it. So right now the best that you can get is 7 wins or 7 losses
Okay.
in a row. So past the game 7, it does not continue stacking, and it simply ends up counting as basically as an extra. Or not as an extra actually. When you complete the streak, when you hit that number 7, what it does basically is that it ends up restarting and it ends up just giving it as
First
treating
win
it as a
essentially.
game number 1 again. Yeah,
Okay. Interesting.
that's the idea regarding that. And then in addition to that one, another thing regarding that matters is that MMR really ends up being massive. Like it's a deciding factor because literally one bad game, not game, but like one bad streak can end up ruining weeks of your grind.
Oh yeah, that
And
has
the reason,
happened on my main account for sure. Where I'm scrolling through my list now. Because like this very
Mhm,
much has like happened to my main account, right? Because I this account I have not played in a very long time on it. So I started all the way
mhm,
down in like gold 2 on this account this season. And
mhm.
over the course of how many games have I played? Like 110 games now. Like I shot up all the way to Emerald 4 like fairly quickly through those games, like very streaky, right? But it's been like once I hit what was this Emerald 3 at one point in time, I went on like a 4 game loss streak, and now my LP gains are back to +20 -20 as opposed to the 30-10 that I had, which is just a fucking tragedy. Yep.
Yes, actually, especially because that working that way basically means that it's actually a little bit, or you are actually
Yep.
a little bit below the level that you should be playing at.
Yep.
Because for us, you should climb if it's at 50%. So in your case, the game is actually trying to force you down a little bit.
Yep.
Yes,
Which
so
I mean,
that's
my win
the
rate overall is 55%, and over the last 20 is 50. No, this is over last. Okay, that's last 140. I think last 20 I'm negative win rate. Let me see.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm not gonna
that
lie.
must have ended
Yeah.
up being, yeah, like literally, one losing streak can end up messing
It's
that
so
up for you
sad.
completely. So
Yeah.
yes, that's why you want to end up going forward and respecting it really. And in addition to that, mm, you also have the you also have the average MMR of a rank. So in essence, each rank has its own average MMR to it. So the game is again comparing that, and that's what defines again how much LP you win, how much LP you lose. And a thing that I did not mention earlier is that you actually can end up, or not you, but like this can end up changing simply with you not playing actively on an account for a little bit, because the average MMR of your rank can change. So it's
Mm.
not about you, it's about the average. Yeah, and then if that ends up changing, your gains and losses will change as well. So that's an important thing to think about as well. And then, in addition to that one, another thing that ends up mentioning is that you also have the average MMR of a game. Now, how do you actually get into a match? What happens is that the game ends up locking in your current MMR, and it ends up using your current MMR as the base MMR of your lobby. So if that is 1000, that is 1000, and it's going to use 1000 as the base MMR of your lobby. Now, what ends up happening next is that as you play that game, or not play, but as you start the queue and as the queue starts going, that zone slowly starts increasing, going both up and down simultaneously. And basically, the longer the queue time, the bigger the zone in which it is searching for those people that it is going to put into your game. And the bigger the zone, well, the less balanced the match is going to be, because there is going to be more people that are basically outside of your rank. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So the idea regarding that one, and the best thing that you can do, is that more or less every, let's say, whatever, let's say 90 seconds. So whenever the game ends up going past that 90-second mark, not the game, but whenever the queue ends up going past that 90-second mark, you want to restart it. So you do not wanna go for that match actually.
Interesting. Okay. Heard.
Yes, that's what ends up basically restarting the zone. And when you restart the zone, the game is going to be pretty much more balanced. And that's how you're going to improve the quality of your games without actually doing anything amazing. That's it. That's the idea.
Yeah. So if I'm on an MMR improvement journey here, right, to like fix the plus 20 minus 20 gains, like I I don't really have a full comprehension of like what they've done to dodging in this game now. Uh, but like, is dodging still worth it when you're looking to repair MMR, or is it still only LP? Does it affect MMR in any way?
It is only LP. A dodge does not influence your MMR in any way, shape, or form, and
Okay.
that's what makes dodging still like a good thing to do.
Okay, got it. Heard.
Yes, that's pretty good. So yeah, you can generally use that as well. It's gonna end up being pretty beneficial.
Especially when I'm
Any
like, if I have
questions?
two wins or something, right, and like, yeah, that we're just getting completely draft diffed on what would be my third game. Like, if I'm attempting to keep the streak and repair MMR, like it's just a dodge there, right, every time. So, yeah, okay, got it. I have not
That
been doing
is.
that, and I have in
Mhm.
previous seasons because I know they changed a bunch about dodging, but I don't really know all what they did. So,
Yes, they did not change that. Like essentially, the only thing about dodging is that they ended up increasing the penalties a little bit. But from the standpoint of the MMR, there is no penalty. That's what makes it good.
still good. Yep. Okay.
Yes, so that's pretty good. Another thing that you want to do, you want to go forward and you want to be as consistent as you can, uh, doing warm-ups prior to really every first game of your day. Uh, this is basically the site that you can use for that. It's amazing. On this one, you can end up, or you can play a couple of different browser games actually, with each one essentially being pretty good, pretty useful, truth be told. And this was popularized actually by Faker. Faker was using it, so if it's good for Faker, it's good for
It's good
us.
for everybody else.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, so like 10 to 15 minutes is the perfect amount of time for a browser game itself or for any type of a warm up. And the important part is that you want it to be mechanically advanced enough. So that's it. Like if it is mechanically advanced enough, it's going to be perfect. That's the idea regarding that one. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And the next thing that we want to do regarding that, is that you also want to be as consistent as you can with taking breaks. Now, when it comes to breaks, you want to differentiate two types of breaks. Two types of breaks in our case would be mini breaks and major breaks. Mini breaks are the breaks that you want to take after every single game that you play, regardless of the outcome. So the outcome generally does not matter. It's irrelevant whether you end up winning or whether you end up losing. Like you finish a game, take a break for about 5 to 10 minutes, so that you end up restarting your mental. That way, you're going to be able to treat every game that you play as an individual thing, which is exactly what we want. Like that's kind of the whole point. And then we combine those mini breaks with major breaks. And major breaks are basically the breaks that you want to be taking in two situations. You end up going forward and you end up losing two games back to back. So if you get two losses back to back, it really does not matter what your performance was like. That is irrelevant to us. Two defeats equal a longer break. When it comes to how long that break should be, that is on you. You get to decide. It can be a couple of hours. It can be a couple of, I mean, not really a couple of days. It can be a day.
Yep.
It can be, yeah. Like you can basically take it for as long as you think is really required. The point is that we want to prevent that losing streak from happening. So it's better to be safe than sorry. Generally better for you to take a longer break and make sure that we stop the losing streak from happening than a break that's not long enough. So that's the idea regarding that one. And you also want to be taking those longer breaks when you, for example, end up having one game that ends up being long, rough, and exhausting. Now, when it comes to that one, you generally wants to respect that quite in depth, because sometimes you can end up having a game that ends up being a win that is going to end up being long, rough, and exhausting, and you don't really want to continue playing after that. It's way better to sit it back out and take that longer break so that we do not risk losing if we do not have to. And that's essentially how we're going to end up being way more consistent and how we're going to prevent a lot of those losing streaks from happening in the first place. So that's going to be pretty helpful. And another thing that I want to know is how would you rate your understanding of runes?
Um, like on a scale from 1 to 10, or like I don't know,
1 to 10 is fine,
probably
yes.
like 6 or 7. Like it's not very advanced. Like I probably do not go into my rune page. Like I differentiate them sometimes from like a lot of these statistic websites, but it is not a common thing that I do. Of like currently looking at like the enemy team, right, acknowledging that like they're almost all auto attack based and changing like something in my resolve tree to give me bone plating. Like I'm not doing that every game.
Mm, That is that is good. Basically, what I want you to do as a homework of sorts is that I want you to get it to a level that's a 10 out of 10. I want you to understand what they do, how you can use them, how you can counter them, and in essence what you can do with them. That's the whole idea.
Okay.
Runes are the important factor of it because, again, adapting them to the game that you're playing is going to help you do better, which is, again, a given. But also, understanding the runes is very important from the standpoint of you understanding the the play style of everyone that you end up seeing in the game itself, and that's the idea. That's how you can end up going forward and making this as efficient as possible. So to give you an idea, you go forward, you see a Dark Harvest Shaco in the enemy jungle. What does that mean for us?
Uh, enemy Dark Harvest Shaco. What does that mean for me?
Yes.
He is probably. I mean, I don't really want to give him procs of it, right? Like is how I would initially probably play that, right? probably going to attempt to cheese. Look for me when I'm low, right? And anytime I am low, assuming that he is getting stacks on it, right? Like I'm more scared of him than like an electrocute Shaco if I'm going in immediately, right? Like electrocute I view as more upfront damage. Dark Harvest I'm more scared of him as I'm lower HP just because of the additional damage. Right? So I guess I play around how my HP is uh, when I see Dark Harvest versus some of the other red runes.
Mhm.
Whether that's right or not, I don't know.
Okay.
But
Okay. That's fair. That's not a bad idea. Uh, Generally, what Dark Harvest Shaco means for you is a couple of things. First of all, seeing a Dark Harvest means that it basically means that that Shaco is going to be an AP Shaco. AP Shaco is a scaling Shaco. Scaling Shaco is a Shaco that ends up being very slow in that early game. He's not going to be doing a lot. He's not going to be trying to make a lot of things happen. He scales. He's going to take it slow. There is really not that much pressure from him. He's not going to be trying to do a lot of things. So you can play way more aggressively. That's the first idea. And then the
right,
second idea is that in mid to late game, his damage output is mainly gonna end up coming from the boxes and from the clone exploding. So you simply got to go forward, respect those things. That's that. Like,
yeah,
don't let the clone explode next to you, and that makes your life significantly easier. That's the whole story. While, for example, if you end up seeing a hail of blades Shaco, on the other hand, hail of blades Shaco is the Shaco that is going to end up being significantly more aggressive on you. He's going to be trying to build a lead for himself early. He's going to be trying to gank way more, and it's simply what you got to pay attention to, and it's what you got to respect. Like, you want to stay way more passive than you would against the standard one, because simply he's gonna he's gonna end up putting way more pressure on us, and that's what we want to be aware of.
okay, makes sense.
Absolutely. And then that's just Shaco. You can use basically that exact approach on a lot of other things. Think along the line of using a Dark Harvest cane. Dark Harvest cane would tell you what?
Blue Cane,
And how does he get the form?
ranged, right? So he's gonna be probably looking for all my ranged lanes.
Absolutely. So Dark Harvest Kane will be looking for the ranged laners. So you already know what his playstyle is going to be like.
Yeah,
And then if you know what his playstyle is going to be like, you know who he's going to gank and what you need to do. And then again, if it's a Conqueror Kane, same thing. You know who he has to gank. So sometimes that blue Kane is going to have just one path that he can actually take. And then if you can go forward and if you can punish that and if you can exploit it, that's basically you doing half of a job in already winning the game.
yeah, makes sense.
Perfect. Now, same thing applies when you're trying to gank someone. Like, it's not the same if you're ganking a Conqueror Darius and a Grasp Darius.
Right, yeah. Conqueror Darius,
Absolutely. So,
I'm much more scared of elongated trades, right? Like if we can't kill him quickly, then that gank is much scarier than what a grasp Darius would be.
absolutely. And then the Grasp Darius is like, you generally can end up again trying to kill him. Yeah, maybe ends up being able to tank it a little bit more, but
Right,
that's the
yeah,
whole thing. However, the Conqueror Darius can end up doing way more.
yep,
He can end up fighting back, surviving way easier,
yep,
and those are the things that we wanna end up thinking about. Make sense?
yep. It does.
Perfect. That is great. Do we have any questions about that?
I don't think so. I think that makes sense for runes.
Perfect. After you finish that part of your job, up, you want to go forward and you want to do the exact same thing for items. What they do, how you can use them, how you can counter them. That's the idea. Now, items are the thing regarding your game that ends up defining yours and everyone else's consistency. So, if you're able to track the items, you are going to be able to adapt yourself to the game and you're going to be able to make significantly better decisions, especially as the jungler. And the things that you're looking for mainly, or the habits that you really want to try to build up, is that you want to pick up that habit of opening up your scoreboard every 40-45 seconds would be perfect. Because that scoreboard for you ends up being your window into creating a mental image of the game for yourself. That's why high level people are doing it. That's why you want to do it as well. So when you're opening up the scoreboard, you want to be looking at the items. You basically want to be connecting the scoreboard and the information it gives you to what you see with your own eyes on the minimap, because that's how you're going to make sure that you're not going to be missing out on any opportunities. Example, you end up seeing there is an Ilaoi at the top lane. You end up seeing that Ilaoi is sitting that Ilaoi is sitting at full health. And you're like, okay, killing Ilaoi is a pain in the ass. I don't want to go for it. But what you end up not seeing is that Ilaoi ended up not taking the recall and she was farming for the last 10 minutes. So right now she's basically the easiest to kill she's ever going to be. There is no, like, even though you do end up seeing a full health Ilaoi, you can still kill her. She is killable. For example, in another scenario, it's going to be that same Ilaoi, but you're going to end up seeing that she has like 50-60% of her health, and you're like, "Ah, okay, I can kill that." But you're going to end up not seeing that she ended up completing, for example, her first item. And then that ends up kind of changing the equation. You go in, she actually turns around, kills you. Like, that's
Yeah.
what we want to be paying attention to. And that's why those things for you are so important. Because if you can track that, you can track the game. And if you can track the game, you can make sure that your decisions are consistently on point. That's why we say that items define consistency. Also, as a jungler, you're always trying to go for what you see as the weakest link on the enemy team. That's basically how you end up getting yourself ahead the easiest. Because that whoever that easiest link is, like, that's the person that you want to shut down. That's the person that you want to wipe out the most. You do not have to. That's like a mistake I see super often. People end up going forward trying to gank every single lane, trying to get every single lane ahead. You do not have to do that. You need to identify one single weakest spot in the enemy team and exploit it. If that's mid, that's mid. Top, top, bot, bot. For example, the guy that was rank one on Korea for quite a long time ended up playing jungle in that exact way. Like, he was playing Kindred, basically a Kindred OTP, and what he was doing is that he would end up going forward and he would end up identifying one lane that he would want to gank all the time. And that is the lane that he would gank back to back to back to back. He would literally end up pulling off like three ganks in the first 6 minutes. Like, he would not be stopping.
Jesus
And
Christ.
out of what's up?
That's a lot. Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He would end up giving up basically half of his jungle for it if necessary. And his games had like puff 44, 45% surrender rate at 15.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was because basically when you shut down a lane that bad, it ends up being unplayable. So yes, That's basically one way of doing it. And you always want to go forward, and you always want to exploit what you see basically as the weakest link, because for you that's kind of the whole point. That's how you get yourself in a situation that you can that you can again be effective and sort of do your job properly.
Okay. I think
Sounds good. Hmm.
in the Alawi scenario, right? Like I think the thing where I struggle with this the most currently is like the pacing of these secondary camps, like not Red Bull, but Blue Buff, which are whatever these days. Like these other four camps, right? And the pace at which they spawn at, and like deciding, okay, yes, I've acknowledged now. Like I say, I'm coming straight out of base. My top side is up. My bot side is respawning. I'm running to the top lane and looking at this Alawi. Acknowledge she hasn't back. She's a door, and it's gonna be my easiest time to kill her. Like it. How do I make the decision if it's worth the tempo to go for the Alawi versus continuing on in my top to bot clear? And like I'm assuming like Dragon probably affects this decision. Like there's other factors that it's not an easy decision to say this is the right answer every single time, right? But I think that's probably where I'm struggling the most currently. It's like making those tempo based decisions and like where it's worth potentially losing tempo for.
You got to decide on that based on how certain you are into a specific play. It comes down to two things: how certain you are and how urgent it is. Because, for example, uh, if you're in a situation that your team ends up outscaling their team, in that case you basically have that safety net, and in that case you don't really have to go forward, and you don't really have to take the plays that are too risky for you. You can go forward, you can take a safer approach, you can go forward, you can continue building up your tempo, and you can basically take that play only when you're really 100% certain that it makes sense. However, if the situation is different, and if you do know that either like your scaling is bad, or if you do know that the enemy team ends up outscaling yours, in that case there is that urgency, and you basically you basically you basically again got to go forward, and you got to take that you got to take essentially that one that's a bit more risky.
Gotcha. Okay. So it really comes down to like sacrificing tempo in the name of scaling or not scaling.
That is correct.
Okay. Heard.
Perfect. That is the best way you're going to be able to essentially create that decision for yourself, and essentially the most consistent way of making it. That's the whole thing.
And is that should it be dictated one way or another based off my own individual scaling versus like the entire team's scaling, or does it really
You
matter?
got to okay, so in League you generally have two types of win conditions, and we tend to call them individual win conditions and team win conditions. Individual win condition is your personal win condition. So that's, for example, do you scale or do you not scale? Like if, for example, in that Shaco example we had earlier, if it was the Hail of Blades Shaco, his individual win condition is to get ahead as much as possible very early. But if it was a Dark Harvest Shaco, his individual win condition is to scale, not to fall behind early. And then that's again like the difference between the two. And then team win condition for you simply ends up being the combination of the individual win conditions of all of your team members. So that basically also should be what ends up dictating your game plan. Sometimes, for example, you're gonna end up having a team comp in which, let's say, you have a very hard winning top laner But for example, your mid and your bot end up being a bit more safe and they end up scaling. In that case, what you can do is that you can hard focus to ganking that top laner to extend his lead as much as possible and to get him basically as ahead as you can so that you end up turning that into a very strong win condition, both for him because you're playing into his individual win condition, and for the team because you're gonna essentially turn him into a very strong top laner with that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Got any questions about that one?
No, I don't think so. I think the one I had I asked, so I think we're good.
Okay, sounds good. And back to that, like essentially items. That's what that's what we do regarding that one.
Oh yeah,
And
items.
in
I guess I
addition,
do have a question. Like,
feel free.
what's the best way to do this, right? Because like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of new items this season specifically. Also, and like for someone who has not played in like 2 years, and like item
Mhm.
changes and whatnot. So like, what is the best way to go about getting like caught up like on like what items are good right now versus like just like understanding. I have a pretty good base understanding of like what most of our historical items do. The new ones like I've read a couple times, but like is there any better way to go about like understanding what items are good in what situations other than just like going into practice tool and like reading the tooltips and saying, yeah, I think this sounds good in this game, or what would you recommend there?
The first thing you want to do essentially is read about them because you got to get the knowledge of what they do. So that's something you got to do in a boring way. You got to sit down and read about items. That's it.
Yep.
That's the start. That way you're going to be able to create that pool of knowledge of all the items that you have. And then essentially as you play, you start putting that into practice slowly. So that's a proper that's a proper approach to it.
Okay.
So there is no shortcut. Like you sort of got to do it in a way that is kind of traditional.
All right, practice tool it is.
Fair enough. And how do you feel about your champion pool?
I think my champions pool is mostly fine. It's like it's kind of divided. Of like, it depends on if we're playing flex queue or solo queue. We play a lot of flex queue. Like I'm happy to play more tanky champions in flex queue than I am in solo queue. Solo queue, I'm picking champions that I feel like I can carry the game on more than or and are more resource hog champions than what I'm playing in flex queue. Um, Play a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Nocturne, Kha'Zix, Elise, Xin. Feeling like I probably should play more Rek'Sai. Kind of just seems like a better Xin Zhao in some ways. So I probably want to pick up Rek'Sai. I like Volley, I like Sejuani. Hecarim is one that's kind of been coming up more recently, I think, too. So I probably want to pick up Hecarim and Rek'Sai as probably two champions. But
Mm-hmm.
very like more like assassin bruiser champion pool than anything
Mm-hmm.
else. So
You generally want to limit yourself to a total of two champs. That's the best way to approach it. Because two gives you that perfect balance of a pool that is small enough so that you essentially are able to master them at a high level,
mm-hmm.
while simultaneously, uh, while simultaneously being again, first of all, it is small enough, and then second of all, like you want to make it, uh, it's more than one. That's the best way to put it. So you have two champions better than one, obviously. You want to make them similar to each other. Similar is good. Gonna make it easier to switch from one to two. And
Mm-hmm.
then again, like with them being grouped up that way, it's gonna be easier to master them.
Okay, so you think like a pool of two assassins is better than a pool of like one assassin, one bruiser?
Absolutely, because it's
Okay.
going to make it again. It's a play style that's closer, and then it's going to make it easier for you to. It's going to make it easier for you to master it, and it's going to be easier. For you to essentially switch from 1 to 2 to 1, it's pretty easy.
Okay, heard.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
Do we
historically
have?
I've definitely
Yeah.
tried to like diversify my champion pool in a different way than that, so that'll be new for me, I think.
It's generally better than diversifying because for the level that you're playing at, team comps do not matter that much as the number one. It is completely okay if you end up going forward and focusing on one thing specifically. And again, like it's going to make it easier for you to master it. So you mastering it is always going to be more efficient than you being kind of decent on three different play styles.
Okay, makes sense.
Perfect. Do we have any extra questions?
I don't think so. That's a lot of homework to do on runes and items, I think. May have questions after that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think everything else that we've talked about has made sense. So I do check the scoreboard fairly frequently, but I could definitely be using it more to influence the active decisions that I'm making. So probably look to carry that into some of these games. Um, I think those are the big things I'm taking away
Mm-hmm.
from this one: the homework and then the active scoreboard checking as well to influence my decisions in game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. If you do get any questions, again, feel free to shoot me a message whenever, and you can book the next one, like for either next week or Sunday, whatever you prefer.
Okay, cool. Sounds good, man. Appreciate the
Perfect.
time.
Absolutely, been a pleasure, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, see ya. Bye.
Bye.
I just got fucking theorized.
Yeah, I missed the majority of that. What was the?
We just got fucking theorized.
Oh, you didn't do it. You didn't. Okay, you didn't do any review.
No, it was theory session.
Oh, okay. What did you guys talk about?
I mean a lot of different shit.
You can't play with Marvin.
Yeah,
can't play with Marvin.
Can't play with
How,
Marvin.
how did that?
Anymore.
How did that come up?
When we were talking about mental state of the game, and taking like small breaks, large breaks, and he asked if I duo queue, and I was like, yeah, we duo queue. I duo queue probably like 70% of my games. We play a lot of flex queue. And then he talked about the people that I should be playing with, and as long as they are as serious and slightly better than me, it makes sense to keep playing with them. And I was like, well, shit, it's not looking good, dude. It's not looking good at all whatsoever, bro. Cooked. Nah, but yeah, that part was pretty funny. No way around that part in this group, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But all good there. Yeah, tempo decisions, scoreboards, and like actively influencing my in-game decisions based upon like rune sets and item sets that people have, and like playing around power spikes better, or just acknowledging when someone is like not spending their money and looking to capitalize on them not spending that money. And then yeah, I just need to know what the fuck these items do these days.
What items are you fucking confused about?
I don't know. There's just fucking hell items in this game now, bro. Need to fucking go read them.
Like, they're not that hard. I mean, I might be.
I just haven't done it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I just need to do it.
guy just hasn't done it.
Just haven't done it, bro.
This guy just.
What the fuck is voltaic? Whatever the fuck. I have no fucking idea.
Oh, that's Duskblade essentially.
Do I go
Just,
stealth?
the new items are just. Oh, so they removed the Duskblade stealth like years ago, and then they only kept it as a 99% slow.
Mhm.
A lot of these items are just like recycled old items, just like shifted around. He says if you take the game seriously, you can hit masters. That's solo queue.
W.
If you take the game seriously, all right, bro.
L.
No more duo queue with Marvin.
Yeah, that's the most unserious decision you could ever make, I guess. Marvin asked me if I'm gonna play. I'd be like, I'm trying to be
Right, sorry,
serious.
bro. I'm trying to like the fuck game, Marvin. Sorry,
I'm
bud.
not in a goofy mood right
That's
now.
all right.
Dude.
That's all right. That's when we get the Smurfs. We just log onto the Smurfs with Marvin. That's what I
Bro,
used to do. That's what I used to do.
I'm pretty sure I've gotten worse from when I've got just playing in this as ADC with Marvin. I'm pretty
dude.
sure.
Let's go, man. W fucking.
It's like I just have to go in this fight, or else we're just. I have an 82 CS Ornn. I just have to fight, dude.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, like all this shit is the same. Blood mail, I know what it does.
I still don't know what blood mail does. I feel like that item's like a.
It's just giga dick damage.
If
based
you
off
are
your
set,
HP. Yeah.
buy me. If you are not set, don't buy this item.
Mundo, baby. Shotgun. Doo-doo-doo-doosh.
It's true.
Yay.
Hey.
Yay.
If set, buy. If not set, do not buy.
I do feel like they have changed items in this game, so like every single item has some sort of passive effect now. Like this did not used to be this way.
Well, ever since the legendary items, I guess you
Yeah.
are correct. It's funny, everyone flamed the legendary items when they were first out, but like people were finding out like they were actually good. Like the system was good. It was just like the actual items that needed to be changed.
Like when
I
would you
agree.
ever the fuck build Force of Nature over Canic Rookarm now? Like I feel like it's never.
When you want movement speed, so like if you're singed, like you'd buy that 100%, right? But like if you don't do well with movement speed, like Malphite, then you would just build Canic Rookery. My thing is, when would you buy Force of Nature over fucking Jack Show? I feel like I'd always just pick Jack Show. And the only answer I can come up with is like movement speed, 60. The fuck is calling me? You have one more lesson, right? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Should that one be like a VOD review versus a live game? Is that what you like historically do? Like, is that real? Or
I've only done live games with him.
Okay.
I've only done live games, and like for the first 30 minutes and the last 30 minutes, we review the game. He won't ask me to review the game. I'll just pull it up because we'll start talking about the game. And he'll just start asking me like, because when I play, I narrate everything, and I mean, yeah, I narrate everything, every decision, and he can see exactly what I'm thinking. So it's a lot easier for him to pick apart. Like, he would just ask some prompting questions. Like, I'll be like, all right, here I'm looking at the 3 auto. My first wave here, get slow push going. I'm gonna crash third wave. I'm gonna go ahead and set a ward here. Path top side, okay. And then like my game plan will be this, and then like an event will happen. It's like, okay, cool. My kill solo kill top. Okay, I'm no longer going to be looking to roam bottom to affect this volatile lane. I'm going to look to push mid if I can't get a solo kill and like snowball this kill because the game plan has changed. Like, or like if a game's going poorly, he'd be like, "How you gonna?" He'll ask me like the question, like if it's like 15 kills to 27, like how do you plan on winning this game? I'll be like, and this was like during last season. I'd be like, I'm just going to farm, not die, and play for Otacon fight. And like there's been so many times where like that just happens. We would just win Otacon and we just win the game because I'd play it flawlessly, just not die. There was one thing that I got out of it that it stuck with me. He told me like, "What's your thought process on objectives?" I'm like, "I want to set up side lanes and I want to set up vision, a minute before objectives." He's like, "Okay, how about your?" He's like, "You typically you're averaging 1 or 2 deaths a game. It should be like 0. And here's how you should look at it: 90 seconds before an objective starts, your tolerance to risk should be 0. If you want to go in for a deep ward, if you want to go in for some sort of contention without like a for sure calculated like trade, do not do it. It is you have a minute 30, like whatever the objective spawn time minus the death timers. Like that's the thing we did. Like we talked about what the death timers are throughout the game. She's like, whatever the death timer is in the objective spawning, that's the count. And then of course the run time if there's no hex gates. That is the time where your tolerance for death is absolutely 0. You need to not die, no mistakes, play safe, play like a bitch, don't go for a ward, whatever. It is 0. That way you are there for the objective no matter what. And if you lose the fight at Dragon because it's just a bad fight and like people play off or like your mechanics are off, then we can just isolate it to just mechanics, right? We don't have to isolate. We've isolated to just get better at the game as opposed to like your decision making needs to be better. So like thinking with that mindset of like when your calculated risk timer goes from 30, 20%, 0 is purely based on objective time and death time, and that has stuck with me. Which is why, like, when we play, I'm always like, "Hey, checks up 30 seconds, whatever." I'm like, "Okay, I got to push the wave out, got to do this," or like, if I see nobody on the map, and like, if I literally see nobody on the map, I'm sitting at my tower. I'm not even going to the wave. I will just fucking sit there. I don't care. Okay, it's better for me to give up that wave or that ward or that position than die before this fight because of something I can't see or predict. That's like. You ever just sit there and you're like, dude, why'd you fucking do that? Like dragon spawn in 20 seconds? Like things like that is gonna prevent that. So I don't know if he's talking about that or not. I love that. That has stuck with me forever.
WCOM, WCOM, WCOM. What are these patch notes? What happened?
Oh shit. Yeah, I mean look at that. 26.4 patch notes. I'm pretty sure it's just like ADC buff. Right? Let's see here. Mbessa, gutted. Okay, no more jungle Mbessa. W. Okay, Annie's back meta mid. Gross. Yo nerf. Nice. And
Yeah.
jungle. Nice.
Mhm.
And jungle is back.
Am I Darius
Okay,
jungling?
Bard is dead. Camille, that's a fake buff. It's literally a fake buff for Camille.
Am I Darius jungling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darius Jungle was literally the best jungler like 2 seasons ago when his monster damage was 3x.
How the fuck do you play Darius jungle?
I think you start Raptors and you just clear. Okay, Fizz jungle is back. Nice.
Brand jungle? W?
Right. Graves is now like probably the best early game jungler in the game right now.
It's
Ooh,
not looking good.
swapping back.
Not
Swapping back.
looking good. Canceled.
Swapping back. Just play Graves a little bit, bro. I got you.
Is this Gwen jungle? Okay, Gwen nerf. Thank God. Gwen nerf. Gwen is dead. Thank you. Way buffs. Is this enough? This is fake. These are fake buffs. These are fake buffs. These are very real buffs for Alawi. She's very strong. These are very real.
Damn, those Hui buffs though, huh? Crazy.
Those are fake. Those are fake.
Nah, that shit is crazy though. Holy fuck.
When are you ever WWing? Ever.
W.
You're just not losing to assassins. That's what this is.
W.
Isn't that
You're
like
just not.
the only thing he loses to right now?
No, you.
Yeah.
No.
He gets clapped up.
Okay, you're just not dying as much to assassins. Good. Okay, Jinx nerf. Thank God. Cassadin nerf. Thank God. That guy's new build was fucking terrifying.
I'm surprised they didn't nerf that.
You can do
I
nerf
thought that
items? No, the E is oppressive as fuck.
like he's like the only champion that does that, like the double tier thing, right?
No, Rise does it with Fimbul Winter. And so does Ezreal. Ezreal also gets Seraphs. Kale
W
nerfs.
Jinx nerf.
A Kennen nerf, thank God, because Kennen actually was an OP champion. Win rate doesn't say it, but he's OP. Okay, no more spell vamp on Lee Sin. Okay, Lee Sin is there's no reason to pick Lee Sin. Lux buffs. Okay, she's a good support now. Maokai jungle is definitely very real.
Oh shit, real?
Yeah.
Okay,
Fairy
I used to
nerfs,
go
good.
crazy
Good.
on that champ, bro. I used
Fairy
to go
nerfs, Kiana
crazy.
nerfs, good. Rengar nerfs, good. Death to Assassins, good. Rumble nerfs, good. Rise, changed, it's fake, who gives a fuck? Okay, very real buff for Samira. 80% to 100% lifesteal effectiveness on her Q and R, very real. Very real champion. Very scary now. Very good buffs for Senna. Senna is very strong now. Swain nerfs, good. Death to bot Swain, because bot Swain is actually super impressive. Nerfs, good. She was probably the best mid laner mid. Find. Teemo jungle buffs. Oh my god. Please no. There's gonna be more Teemo jungle. I hate that shit. Okay, Twitch nerfs, good. Udyr's a real champion again. Wow.
W. Love that.
Okay, Zaya's probably the best blind AD now. Okay. Zach nerfs good. That guy was fucking stupid. Omnivamp no longer works on Smite and Ignite. W change. Okay, so Samira, Zaya, very good champions again. Udyr, like jungle. This is a fun jungle patch. All the lame ass junglers got nerfed.
All the
Yana
cringe
and
ones
Besta.
got buffed.
Yeah, all the cringe ones got buffed.
That's cringe.
Except for Graves, I think he deserves it.
W.
I fucking hate that champion. Let me rephrase
You
that. I fucking
great.
hate playing against that champion.
W.
Yeah, it is actually really
champion.
hard to play against a good Graves.
Super W champion.
This guy only wants me to play 2 champions, bro. What 2 champions do I fucking play?
I'd probably go with Xin Zhao for like a safe blind.
Xin Zhao
all around.
Zaheen. W.
No, not Zaheen.
No,
I'd say
no.
Brother,
Is this
like
fucking
one-
Rex
I'd
guy?
say one AP, one AD. So I'd probably say like Xin, and I'd probably say like I really like
Molly?
Lilia. I'd say Lilia.
Fuck that
Lilia.
champion.
Oh, you're banned. You're
Yeah,
banned. You're
shit,
banned.
I
You're
don't
banned.
want to. I don't
No,
give
Lilia is a
fucking
very
fucks,
good
bro.
1v9
Like,
champion.
Banned.
oh, he
Everything he was
fucking
talking to you about
killed
was like
Buffy.
solo queue though.
I'll be back.
Why is Echo's win rate so fucking high again?
They nerfed a bunch of junglers. Didn't do anything to him.
Oh, well, dub. Abba dooba dabba dabba deeba dabba da. Yabba dabba dooba dooba suck on da. Oh my god, it was him. Fuck. Fuck. Mm.